We are talking about the Bigfoot movie, Big Legend, written and directed by Justin Lee. And before we get into the actual movie review itself, I feel like the Sasquatch Bigfoot legend is on the kind of verge of becoming a little bit overexposed at this point, considering that for the most part this is somewhat a fringe monster, I would say. But man, there's been a lot of movies about this kind of within recent years. I mean, how many movies have there been about the Loch Ness Monster, which kind of seems like a equal level monster, if that makes sense. But there seems to be inundated with these Bigfoot and Sasquatch movies within the last kind of like 3 or 4 years. But anyway, I digress. So Big Legend, this is actually almost seems like a start of a series of movies or a TV show pilot perhaps. It focuses on this guy who is an ex-army ranger, and with the first part of the movie we see him out in the woods, in the wilderness with his kind of his girlfriend, and you know it's all very romantic. They're out camping, and you know he wants to propose, etc. However, one evening in their tent they are attacked by some type of creature, and the girlfriend just disappears. She goes missing somewhere, and then we cut to a year later. And this guy's been in therapy, obviously, because he's kind of messed up about it. He kind of, you know, the other people don't believe him, etc., and about what's going on, and he has to kind of, oh yeah, it must have been a bear, etc. But he decides, with the advice of his mother, played by Adrienne Barbeau, in a kind of a small role here, that he's going to go out to the woods and try and find some answers. So off he trots, using his skills picked up in the military, to try and hunt down this creature. While he's there, he bumps into someone else who is also kind of there for his own reasons, and the pair of them team up to try and kind of take down this creature. So, what do we think about Big Legend? The story itself is relatively kind of unambitious necessarily, but I don't think it necessarily is a bad thing because of that. It really is just this guy's mission for revenge. But as of such, I think it does kind of do a good job of not making you kind of like worry about too many kind of like plot strands going here and there. So it's a fairly lean film. I feel it all obviously is shot on location here in the wilderness. There are some sort of great shots here, some sort of decent cinematography, and the monster effects I feel are worked quite well because you never really get a great look at this creature, but you do get enough glimpses that I feel that you won't be cheated, and you see kind of various kind of like close-ups, but you never really get that kind of like that sort of pulled back shot, if you know what I mean. So you never really get a proper good look at this kind of creature, but you get enough, I feel, to sate the idea about what it is actually is and the sort of size of it, etc. There are some pretty decent action sequences here as well. Obviously, this guy being ex-military, you know, he can handle himself to a certain degree, and I think maybe there are it gets a little bit silly where we get in the fist fight with this kind of creature, and the guy and the creature sort of blocking and stuff like that. And I don't know if it would do that if it was basically an animal, but which is kind of what we're led to believe in this movie. Some of the things that didn't work for me, especially, was the dialogue here. Now, there's not loads of dialogue in actual fact, because for a long portion of this movie, this guy's on his own. But when we do have interactions with like the other kind of guy that he meets and his kind of, you know, his mother and things like that, and then some characters towards the end, it's a little bit cheesy. The dialogue here is a little bit like, it sounds really macho when you kind of write it on a bit of paper, but when you say it in kind of a movie, it just sounds like stuff you wouldn't actually say in kind of real life. So the dialogue itself is a little bit kind of trite, I would have to say. Then we also have the ending in this movie, and you're thinking, have I just watched a TV pilot? I won't going to give it away for you, but you're thinking, and you've got this appearance from Lance Henriksen, who sounds like he's smoking about 500 cigarettes a day. I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be like some sort of TV series or some series of movies. And I've seen so many low-budget movies that promise other things that never actually happen. We'll see. We'll see if it actually happens. I might be intrigued because I did feel it was a solidly made film and it was entertaining. There's not a lot to it. I don't think it really offers anything new to the Sasquatch subgenre, so to speak. But it is well enough that it's kind of, you make it, it's an enjoyable film. You know, you can kind of look past the fact that in one scene it's not snowing and the next scene there's all snow on the ground, stuff like that. what are they eating, you know, etc., etc. There are a few kind of little kind of niggles here and there, but the actual lead character is a likeable guy. I actually really enjoyed the initial part before the monster attack between him and his girlfriend. They do feel like a great regular couple, so you kind of get invested in this kind of guy's journey. One little nitpick, I suppose, as well, that we meet this kind of second hunter, so to speak, and this guy clearly believes in Bigfoot straight away. You know, he's sort of saying to our main guy, oh yeah, this could be, you know, this monster, and the guy's like, I don't believe in fairy tales. Hang on a second, wasn't you saying the opposite when you were in the hospital and everyone's going, it was just a bear, honestly, it was just a bear, and you're the one that was going, oh no, it must have been something else. You know, just added drama for drama's sake, if you ask me. It's a fun film. I don't think kind of it is necessarily a must-see, but it certainly isn't a bad film, I would say. So I'll give this just a bang on average mark for 5 out of 10 for me. It's worth a watch. I think you'll enjoy it if you like this kind of subgenre of Bigfoot movies. But there are better ones out there, and I've seen a few recently that I feel add a little bit more to this kind of subgenre. So 5 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.